Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful day. I'm Valerie, and I wanted to make a hopefully quick video today about getting off track and how to get back on track when you've gotten off track. And so basically, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I got off track recently in a manner of speaking. So I am really into wellness and health. And that is because I've had some health issues, and so you're a lot more motivated to stay on track when you've had things wrong, quote unquote, wrong with you. And so I have like a very basic, kind of routine that I usually do with a little bit of yoga in the morning and whatever, healthy eating and stuff. And I'd gotten out of it, and then I got really busy. And at first it was just kind of like a little vacation. From what I usually do, like just sleeping in a little bit later or whatever, just mixing it up, doing what I felt like I needed to do. And then as I got busier, kind of the lines were kind of getting blurred. And I wasn't really cooking at all anymore for myself. And I was eating a lot of desserts and wasn't really moving around a lot, wasn't doing my yoga. And and I also want to talk about self-esteem in this video as well, because it's a lot easier when you're doing all of those things. It's a lot easier to feel really good about yourself, and your body's, likely to look more how you want it to look probably too when you're in those habits. Well, and of course I got out of those, and I gained some weight, and my pants really weren't fitting. They were feeling really uncomfortable and tight. All weight that I gain goes first immediately to hips, butt area, so that's fun. And then I was noticing something really interesting happen. So I was starting to get motivated in a way to get, back into my healthy routine, but I was just stuck enough in this unhealthy one that I needed to kind of go uphill a little bit to get back on track, and I started getting sick too. And so that was another reason why I was like, well, I obviously need rest. I shouldn't be waking up early, and I shouldn't be, whatever. And I hit a really interesting moment where my motivation almost dropped off at a certain point. And I was really interested in why that is. And it made me think about, why do we do the things that we do? And when we feel like we start spiraling into something, what's going on? What's really going on? Because it's scary to ask ourselves those questions in those moments, and I kind of wanted to start exploring that. So think about anybody who does something to excess, or who feels like they just can't stop, like they know what's good for them, but they can't seem to get out of it. Think of yourself halfway through a bag of your favorite snack, and you're like, you know when you could stop, and you'd be like full, and if you keep going, you're gonna feel weird and way too full, and you might stay awake because you have indigestion now, and then you're like, you knew it all along, and then you get to that point and you're like, I knew what I should have done. Why did I keep going? And because I was getting a lot of feedback from, my inner guidance system of like, oh, it's not really something you need right now, or I wasn't even really craving sugar, but I was eating a lot of it. And I wanted to think about, there's so many ways that you could answer this question, but I wanted to at least look at it from a lens of like, what's going on emotionally and on a really deep way, what's happening when we do that. And I think that all of us want it to be as simple as something we can logically talk ourselves into. And you see this all the time with people's critique of overweight people, or people who do anything, who feel like they can't stop. They're like, well, I don't know, they just feel like if you know that you should stop, then that's enough. You should be able to logically talk yourself into it, but it's really not that easy. And I was really feeling myself get into this pattern of like, I felt so defeated, and I was like, whatever, I'm already fat, and that was my my lower self talking and be like, whatever, I already got these fat hips, the pants already don't fit, what's another dessert gonna do? Like, I don't have any, willpower anyway. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. And like all these really stupid voices in my head were talking to me. So I was like, chillax. Obviously, I'm at a point where I need to take a step back and love myself. And I want to say it's not about logic, it's about love. And the next time that you are getting caught in a pattern, I would say, because this is what is working for me, do whatever you gotta do, dude. We're all on different parts of our path. But for me, it does not work to beat myself up about it. It does not work to give myself a bunch of rules to follow when I'm already not able to get back onto what I was doing before anyway. It doesn't work to like beat myself up. Well, I already said that. It's still true. It doesn't work to beat myself up. Emphasis on that point. But it's so true. It's so true. And what I think we need to do in those moments is think of something that you love doing. Something that I'm reconnecting with that I loved doing as a kid was dancing. I would just play classical music, whatever, and I would just dance around the living room. And I, made my poor parents, sit through countless shows of my dances. But I loved the hell out of it. And I repressed that one for a very long time because at some point in my life I decided, well, I never had lessons in dancing. I felt like I had no rhythm. I was like, oh, I suck at this. But I'm starting to do it again, and I'm really just enjoying it for the sake of doing it. I don't really need anybody to watch me do it. In fact, that's cool. Like, you really don't need to watch me dance. I'm good, for right now. I'm just hanging out and doing that by myself. But like getting back into my yoga routine, I was like, oh shit, like I'm really out of shape right now. Every time I was trying to do a chaturanga, it was just reminding me of like how I shouldn't have eaten that last dessert because I was really feeling it, and like, I should have been kept up with my yoga because it was really difficult and I was getting tired super early on. It was like 3 minutes and I was like, oh, okay, I'm done, peace out. But something that I realized I didn't have to coax myself into at all was dancing, and that was still movement, and that was still getting me up and getting me moving and totally inspiring me and starting the day off in a way that made me want to continue this cycle of feeling good and treating myself well. And it's going to be different for everybody, and sometimes we need to just be we always need to be where we are. And sometimes where we are is a scary place. Sometimes it's eating dessert late at night and feeling bad about it. And that's okay. It really is. It's totally okay. It is so okay. It's more than okay. You're doing exactly what you need to do right now. And all you really need to do is trust yourself. Because as soon as you can start doing that, and see, I needed to remind myself of that. I really did. Because one way that I still, use good and evil, these very polarized terms, which I don't really believe in, I do that still a lot with food, and I have like the food that's good and then the food that's bad, and then I very often use that to judge my character or how good or bad I am being, and that's bullshit. So I kind of go into more and more deep layers of this every time I get out of my healthy, good girl patterns, because I get to explore me being bad, which is like my biggest fear. Well, when I do my biggest fear, it's like, it's cool, dude. Like, yeah, I ate some frozen pizzas and drank some beer, whatever, and like hang out with that chick for a while, she's fun to hang out with too. And she has got some shit to say, and you're usually making her shut up and not letting her talk. And it's important to listen. So, you know what? Go ahead and listen to those parts when they come up. Don't try to drown them out. Don't try to drill sergeant them out. Don't send yourself up to some fucking boot camp. Like, love those parts of yourself and listen to them, and then ask them, what do you love doing? What is the 5 to 10 pounds heavier you love doing, something that gets you excited? And this isn't really just about food. This is just my little slice, if you will, my little slice of the pie, of an example of willpower, self-esteem, blah, 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 etc. I would love to hear about your own experiences of when you're in the middle of a process. What do you do when you want to pause for reflection and you feel like you're lost in this cycle and in this momentum of something you don't want? What do you do? Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. Peace and love to you all. Namaste. Mwah.